Not
All right,
sponsored.
whenever you're ready.
I'm ready when you are, brother, man.
Brother.
Go for it.
Welcome to the High School Backups Podcast. My name is Nick, and this is episode 48, as Jake so kindly continues to tell me because I love him so dearly. Today we have Austin with his beautiful looking hair and it seems like a black shirt. We have Jake with his sexy, almost award-winning face. Plymouth State Track and Field, let's go. If you didn't know, and we haven't said it a million times, that is where we went to school. Justin and his beautiful face, he's very excited for Saturday, and we're very excited for him. Kyle and his Knicks wearing hat, although he may or may not be a subject Celtics fan.
But the Mandalorian in the back,
who is in my work shirt because I was too lazy to change. Here we are, episode 48. It is essentially in the middle of what feels like a sandwich of snowstorms up in the Northeast. It has been a great time. Point being, we are chilling like some villains and having a good time here. So this week, we have a bit to talk about. A few things that we've been kind of waiting for Kyle to get back, because we know he has strong opinions of it. A few things that just happened as recently as today, as well as some things that are going on this weekend we want to talk about. So let's just get out of the way a few of the base things that I kind of wanted to talk about that aren't necessarily on the agenda. So first things first, the Red Sox made a trade today, an actually decent trade that most people didn't necessarily see coming, but I will give you those details. So the Red Sox have traded for Adalberto Mondesi from the Royals. It is, let's see, the deal is for Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor is being traded for Mondesi as well as a player and or cash consideration. So cool pickup for the Sox. He is some middle field depth. I didn't know much about him, but I was listening to the radio while I was waiting for the plow to clear up our driveway area, and essentially he's some infield depth. So I don't know if Austin, you have anything on him, but I just know that he was injured. He tore his ACL, and so his value is at an all-time low.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to him. We'll just have to see how he's able to come back from that. And I mean, it's infield depth and stuff like that. So we'll see how he plays for you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's kind of cool to have extra pieces. Other little, I guess, pieces. The Bruins still have not lost 10 games, and we're like, more than halfway through the season, so that's pretty cool. Their point percentage is like .87 or something like that, which is absolutely egregious.
When will it end?
When
will it end?
The main point that I like to keep pointing out is that the Bruins, at this point, they currently have 78 points. They have played 46 games. That means that there are 36 games left in the season. Realistically, the Bruins only have to win roughly 7 to 8 of those games to have a decent shot at making the playoffs. So if they were to go the rest of the season with 7 wins and 29 losses, they would have a good chance at making the playoffs. And I think we all know that's probably not going to happen. If they were to go even the rest of the season, they would go 18-18. They would still end the season at, wait for it, 112 or 114 points if they were to go 500.
That's ridiculous.
Highly likely they would win the Presidents or be very, very close.
What is the NHL record for points in a season? I just need to know.
120 something.
Yo, so the Bruins have a realistic shot at.
Okay, points record. I'm just saying. Kyle's
I'm pretty sure the Lightning had made it a couple years ago, so the Bruins are already on track to.
There are 132 established by Montreal Canadiens between 76 and 77 with a 68-12 record.
Well, shit.
That's crazy.
So 132 points. So that means that the Bruins, in order to hit 132 points, they would need an additional, let me do quick math here, 54 points. So they would need to win, that translates to 26 of their remaining 36 games.
I mean, they're on pace.
That feels more likely than them winning 37 at this point. So if they can do that, that'd be great. And that would be with none of those 10 losses being OT losses.
According to moneypuck.com, the Bruins have a 100% chance at making the playoffs.
You better put in that bet,
is
Kyle.
January 24th.
Kyle, that's an easy bet, bro. Just put the money on it.
The thing is, though, I would put money on that, and they would find a way to lose 100% of their games between now and April. Like
What's
that is
their-
what would happen.
What would be the bet on that right now? What would be the odds?
Minus 1,000, probably. Like,
Yeah, bro,
let's
you'd have to
find
put in
out.
1,000 to win like $10.
Like, well, let's find out. Team, I'll figure that out for you.
Also, me and Kyle are planning to do a betting episode. I, to be honest, need to get into it more like Kyle's been doing it, so I've been highly considering that.
Kyle's gonna educate me so I can lose money like him.
I'm
Here's the thing
above
about Kyle.
500.
He
Hold
does
on.
not lose money, believe it or not. I know it may seem like it, but he does not.
All right,
So-
Nick.
Do you want to know how little chance it is for the Bruins to not make the playoffs? They don't have an option to select on DraftKings.
To not make the
Little-
playoffs?
There isn't an option for me to select them. That's how little chance they have to miss the
Bro,
playoffs.
that's nuts.
Now, if I were to say they were going to win the President's Trophy with the best record, they're minus 800 odds. Which, if I were to bet $1, that would win me 12 cents. So, I'm just saying. the
Slow and
odds-
steady, slow and
Hey, do
steady.
you know who else had like minus 40,000 odds? The Chargers to lose that game at
That's
halftime.
true.
And
That is
the
true.
point
Bro.
of that is a guy put $1 million bet on minus 40,000 odds for the Chargers to win that game
And lost.
And
$1 million
lost.
and to win a measly $14,000, and he lost. So
Yeah, that's awful.
sometimes
Bro.
it's just not worth it. So here we
man.
are.
He has a better
Okay.
chance of putting a bet on the Rangers.
You're right, I do.
All right, Nick.
According
keep
to Money
moving.
Puck, they have
Yeah.
like a 70% chance. They have a 71% chance to make the playoffs.
Last
So,
time I looked, I mean, they're third in their division. The Capitals and Penguins
doing
are on
good.
their heels, though. So,
they
also,
won last night, dominating fashion. So it's fine.
cool little fun fact about the Bruins as well. Their point differential is at 81.
That's ridiculous.
They have outscored their opponents by almost 2 more goals a game than they have been scored on. So now they're cool. It's absolutely egregious. To this point, we're all along for the ride. There's no bragging about it. It's just speaking for itself. It's just interesting.
You know, I find it funny that back in November, I kept saying they were going to fall off a cliff, and here we are 2 months later.
Hey, an opposite
completely
cliff is
wrong.
what it feels like, you know?
Completely wrong. I admitted that I was wrong a month ago. I don't know how I couldn't when I did. Like, I couldn't put it off any longer. Like, they were just dominating it. So I'm actually glad to be wrong about this because this is history. This is literally watching history be made. So this is a cool fact. This is a cool thing to be witnessing, to be watching this team, to be honest. And like, I watched the Bruins play the Rangers last week, and it wasn't even close, man. Like, the Bruins were dominating the Rangers all over the ice. So like, it's gonna be scary when I go to the game in March. It's probably not gonna be worth my money. I'm just gonna be there to see Riley's reaction to being at her first professional hockey game. But you know, it'll be fun.
All I know is Kyle's getting roasted in the chat right now.
I am getting roasted. I am.
All right,
roasted.
Nick, what else you
Fine.
got to talk about, my guy?
Yes. Awesome. Okay. So, few other things to briefly talk about. The Celtics, me and Kyle went back and forth on this. It's pretty funny. The Celtics lost to the Magic, ending their 9-game win streak, or
Fucking
something
hell,
like that. And furthermore, the more important part about that is the Celtics have not beat the Magic at all this season. They are now 0-3 against
Poor
the
Kyle.
Magic. If there's a single team I want to be 0-3 to in the entire league, it is a team that will not make the playoffs, and that is a fact. And I am perfectly fine with that being the case, to be frank.
I'm
So,
not when it costs me money. What the
I-
hell?
I mean,
Bro, I
Kyle-
could have told you there was a shot that the Celtics lost to the Magic, bro. They haven't played well against the Magic at all. I don't know
I-
what it is.
I didn't see it happening for a third time.
Bro,
Like,
they just-
3 straight times, dude.
Bro, they
I
Wait,
just...
didn't you
know,
bet money
I know.
line?
What? Yeah, I did money line. So I didn't even need them to do any. I just needed them to win by 1 point. One stinking point.
It didn't happen.
I knew they were gonna lose when I saw the score at halftime. When they were already losing by 10 at halftime, I was like, I know.
Yeah, Jason Tatum got hurt. He may or may not play tonight.
Oh, did he?
So that's a cool thing. So Celtics, even with that though, are still 3.5 or 4 games ahead of everyone in the East, and another game ahead of everyone in the West. So still best team in the league, even though they're losing 0-3 against the great Magic team. So
they're playing the Heat tonight, right?
Yes.
Oh, easy
Miami.
dub. Easy dub.
I wouldn't say an easy dub.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
we would've
joking.
said about last night, too.
I'm joking.
It seems that
I'm
they
joking.
rise to the occasion more than they fall to their opponents. So, moving on from that, that is it for my kind of general news. Unless anyone else has anything else to share.
I've got some stuff just real quick. Let's talk about the New England Patriots real quick. Hired an actual offensive coordinator today. Big dub. Bill O'Brien is now once again a New England Patriot, and he's our offensive coordinator, which is beautiful. Kyle, if you don't stop booing, I'm going to come to New Hampshire and actually fight you.
Are they from the
wait,
Giants originally?
aren't your Giants in the same spot our Patriots are in now?
Oh, yeah, not in the playoffs, dog?
Watching from home?
No.
At least we won a game, man. I'll take it.
Honestly, it's a huge move. If you didn't check out our video from yesterday, which said which teams are a piece or two away, we said the Patriots needed an offensive coordinator, and that'll put them in a good spot to make the playoffs again. And they did that. We'll see how right we are. There's also speculation that Adrian Clem and Sean Jefferson could also come onto the offensive staff. And if that is a haul on offense I've ever seen, that is huge. Like, that's huge. Honestly, revamping the offensive coaching staff is huge. I absolutely love it, but that's all I got to say about that.
Awesome. So other than what we've already talked about, there isn't a ton going on in the sports world. Obviously, with the college football, there's not much going on. With the season being over, when we look at college basketball, there's some stuff going on. I do know that UConn has fallen off an actual cliff. If you want to talk about that, Austin, I know you'd love to.
Hold on. We will find out tomorrow where they are standing at that cliff. They definitely had a terrible stretch. All of college basketball has been fun to watch so far this year. It always is, but it's obviously more fun when your team. I'm a huge UConn fan, so it's more fun when your team's actually thrown around in the top conversation at times during the year. They started out 14-0. Let's just start there. They then proceeded to be, right as they are right now, 16-5. So obviously not where you'd want to be after starting 14-0 and being number 2 in the country. They then proceeded to lose 3 games to the next ranked opponents they'd face in the Big East, in Marquette, Xavier, and Providence. All 3 of those games, I didn't think they'd lose all 3. I could have seen any of them being a loss. Those are all 3 really strong teams, and Xavier is way stronger than anybody really thought they were going to be this year. What was annoying was them losing to Seton Hall at home.
And, who was the other team they lost to, Austin?
And I said this, St. John's on the road isn't a good win or a good loss, but it's not a bad one either. It's kind of one of those ones where you went on the road to St. John's, which is always going to be tough. And then also that's a very veteran team with who's the small point guard? Kyle. Who's your starting point guard? Short guy.
What's his name?
Well, anyways.
Hold on. I'll get that for you in a second.
And their big man, like they've got a veteran team there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, really good starting guard, point guard there who's tough. He's small. He's kind of like a bowling ball. I mean, he's literally built like a red back. So when he gets in the lane, hard to stop him once he gets going. And then their big man has a great mid-range game, turnaround, all that stuff. So I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was a little bit, but I was also could see it coming. Especially once I saw how they were playing the last 4 games, I kind of had a feeling it might happen. Then they lost to Seton Hall again. They did finally get a dominant win again over a Butler team who has been able to beat some of the top teams. Butler had just beaten, I think it was Providence or one of the top teams. So Butler anyways is a good team. So I would just say that they fell off a cliff. We're going to see whether or not they're able to regain their footing in this next game because they play Xavier tomorrow night. if they're able to win that game, then I'm not going to say they're back. They're not what they were. But they really need to find the team they were earlier in the season when they beat the likes of the second-ranked team in Alabama. People like Iowa State, another ranked team, like they're ranked 12th right now. So they were able to beat a lot of those good teams early in the season because they were playing with pace. They weren't turning the ball over. And in the games against Xavier, Providence, and Marquette, the last 2 minutes of the game, they were turning the ball over, letting those teams get out in transition and just break the game open. And then it came down to fouling, and we all know how that works. If you don't hit your threes, well, guess what? You're not going to win. So, yeah, there's a lot of things they can do to turn this around, and it's just finding the three ball again and getting out in pace. That's what their team is good at. So
I'm very excited to see that game tomorrow night because UConn is still the favorite. So as someone who loves betting on college basketball, that is a huge game I'm like zoning in on. I'm not sure exactly who I'm taking yet in that game, but in general, that's not only going to be a great betting game, but a great pure basketball game to watch and enjoy because it could honestly go either way. Xavier's been playing really hot, great basketball lately, and UConn, who was playing great basketball, has fallen off, but they could click at any moment. So, like, I feel like that game could be a nice duel back and forth. So I'm really excited for that game tomorrow. I'm going to be flipping between that and the St. John's game, so that'll be a good game to watch tomorrow. So I'm excited for that.
And I mean, other college news: Kansas now up to 3 straight loss. So if we want to talk about a falling off the cliff right now, they're the ones now on that cliff. Who was it? Gonzaga last week ended the second longest home win streak in NCAA history at 75, or was it 79? I don't remember. I know it was 75 or 79.
Yes,
I don't know why those are the two that I remember, but and then which that's insane. I mean, even if it was 75 games, you play 31, 32 games depending on who you are in between the before you hit postseason. So, do you think they're only having maybe 15 games or so at home over season? That's like 5 straight years or whatever of just undefeated at home. That's ridiculous. So that's the big news for them. They got beat by Loyola Chicago. So Loyola Chicago is for real again this year. I don't remember what their record is, but I think
they're not doing well. They're not doing good.
No, but that's what's funny about it is like they're a real team and could be because they beat Gonzaga, who has beaten some good teams and lost to some. But we'll see what happens.
Are you sure it was Loyola Chicago?
I think it was. Oh no, Loyola Marymount. Sorry.
I was like, Loyola Chicago's in the A10s. That's why I was like, that doesn't sound.
Yeah, no, Loyola Marymount. That's what I meant. They're a real team this year. So
I was like, because Loyola Chicago is like falling off of a cliff, man. Like, Sister Jean better pray they somehow make it to the tournament. Like, they are in deep shit right now.
They're not making it this year, I don't think.
No, they're not. They're in deep trouble. Them changing conferences has really messed with them. So
yeah,
they're having a tough time adapting to the new conference. But
the two teams at the top of the NCAA that have just been consistent all year is Alabama and
Purdue.
Purdue with Zach Edey. I mean, that dude's a force. I'm hoping Zach Edey is what Donovan Clingan will turn into for the UConn Huskies. They're both 7-2, so yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for college hoops right now. I mean, some parity among some of the bigger tems, but
I think we're going to see a lot more top 25 teams lose to their conference teams because a lot of conference games do go really close in general. So as we're finishing out the conference games, as we get closer to the conference tournaments, I think we'll see a lot of top 25 teams start losing a little bit more. Especially the bottom half, the top 25. Like I'm pretty confident with Tennessee, Houston, Alabama, and Purdue being the top 4 in the top 25 right now. But like, I think the more we see the rest of the top 25 play their conference games, they'll start losing a bit more. But that's pretty consistent to what happens year in, year out. So it's not really that big of a change. There were a couple big upsets last week.
Well, quite a few actually.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Houston lost to Temple. Yep. Kansas, like I said, has lost 3 straight.
Kansas lost to Kansas State and TCU. So yeah. Kansas lost a couple big conference games last week.
Yeah, Kansas is looking like it may not be able to win its whatever ridiculous number of a row conference regular season wins. So, anyways, that's about it for this week, and we'll check back in with you guys next week.
Alrighty, cool. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the NFL playoffs. Let's talk about what we recognize or saw last weekend. So, first things first, we'll talk in the AFC. We'll talk about the less good game. I guess it wasn't a bad game. The second half was a little bit less fun to watch from my perspective. But Jacksonville versus Kansas City. What do we think? What do we think, Austin?
Good game from Kansas City. Let's see. I had the I think I was surprised. I thought it would be like one more touchdown at least. I thought the Chiefs would be able to put up 14 extra points more than the Jags. I just got to give the Jags credit, that defense, for keeping. I mean, 27 is still a lot, but on Holmes' team that still has Travis Kelce, I know it didn't have Tyreek Hill, but that's still really good. And Trevor Lawrence, I think he's arrived. I really do. It's 2 playoff games that, he didn't play great in the first half against Chargers, but he rebounded. And then this week, played a lot better. So I got to give him credit for that.
Okay, Jake, we're going to go through kind of each of us real quick for those.
No, honestly, it was about as I expected. Even our Twitter said, that game could be closer than people realized, especially because the Chiefs were coming off a bye week. The Jags have been playing really well. They came off a strong second half, and I didn't expect Trevor Lawrence to come out and throw, 4 picks again.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence has arrived. I believe that he's a top 8 quarterback in the league at this point. We'll get to that later. But no, it's about as I expected. I thought the Chiefs would struggle with the Jags just because I thought the Jags are playing well. That's really all I have to say. I figured the Chiefs would win. I figured it would be closer than a lot of people realize. I'm ready to talk about the actual championship games, but I know that we're going to give a second on that one.
Yeah. So, any thoughts, Justin, specifically about what you saw?
Not in particular. I actually had to make sure that, because I remember watching it with Grant, the Cowboys game. I wanted to make sure I didn't mix up the Cowboys missing almost every single extra point with the most recent one. But I was surprised by the Giants-Eagles game. That was a bigger gap than I was expecting.
Dude. We'll get to that one in a second, Justin. Don't jump the gun here, man.
Okay,
Hold on.
Kyle, any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I have a couple. Jacksonville let me down a little bit, I'll be honest. I was kind of dumb and put $30 on Jacksonville money line there. Not my greatest moment. Dude, okay. Here's what I was thinking.
You had them plus 7.5.
Dude, I know I had a plus 7.5 chance, and I was like, nah, that line is speaking to me, man. That spread was like, Jacksonville can do it, man. I threw money down on it. I was like, let's go. Jacksonville's pulling off the upset, and I was literally, they were this close, man. They were so close. I was surely hoping, but in all honesty, I'm happy T-Law is here to stay. I really liked how he acted after the game. I think Jacksonville's going to be pretty dominant in the AFC South for the next 10, 15 years. Well, at least T-Law will be pretty dominant for the next 10, 15 years. Whether or not Jacksonville is depending on if they can stay a competent team coaching-wise and stuff. But I'm pretty happy T-Law showed up. I was waiting for him to have his breakout year. I think this is pretty true to it. I think Doug Peterson has really shown his potential with T-Law. So I could see Jacksonville making to the playoffs next year and actually going pretty deep in the playoffs next year. So I enjoyed watching this game more so than the Bengals-Bills game.
Yeah, and let's move right over to that. I'll be honest, I don't have much to say about Kansas City Jaguars. It wasn't exactly as I expected. So I really don't have any. T-Law, yeah, he looked great. There's nothing else to that. I will say, talking about the other game, the Bills-Cincinnati, this game also went exactly as I pictured it going. I actually had Cincinnati winning by a lot, or the Bills winning by a little. So it went exactly as I expected. So really no complaints from me on how that game went. Kyle, what are your thoughts? What do you see with that game?
The game pretty much went exactly as I wanted. Joe Burrow came up very clutch for me. Thank you, Joe. You made me gain money back from my loss with Jacksonville. So Cincinnati made it up to me. I appreciate it. But Cincinnati looks legit to me. I really like them as the Super Bowl contender. It kind of surprised me that they're not underdogs going into next week. But you know what? I think that the football world is really eyeing that Mahomes injury, so we'll see how that plays out. But as far as this week, Cincinnati I thought looked real good, and we'll kind of get into how I'm really kind of with Buffalo. I'm kind of torn as to what they should do. I'm kind of on a bold take side. They should relieve Sean McDermott of his duties.
Bro, what?
Here's the reason why.
I'm not gonna get it. Don't even get into it. We'll talk about this later.
No. I do just want to say really quick as to why I think that is because this season, to me, they regressed, and to me, they shouldn't regress with as talented of a quarterback as Josh Allen is, and to me, that speaks more into how dominant Daboll was in the coaching staff than McDermott was. So to me, that parity is really why McDermott, I think, should be necessarily relieved. Also, I saw this statistic with Nick Wright, is that any quarterback and head coach that work together within the 5 years, if they don't win a Super Bowl within that 5-year window, they will never win a Super Bowl together as a tandem. It has never happened in the past 33 years in the NFL. Which to me was a wild statistic. So that any quarterback and head coach duo that hasn't won a Super Bowl within their first 5 years will never do so.
That's nuts.
And it has that is completely nuts to me. And this was McDermott's 5th year with Allen. So that to me kind of speaks. At least that's what Nick Wright said. I'm going off of what
I
Nick
think
Wright
they have
said
another
on his
year.
show.
I think they have another year there. I might be wrong though. I think it was only the 4th year.
Which could be. I'm going off of what Nick Wright said on his show. You guys can double check with me on that. But I think
Never trusted Nick Wright.
That's totally fair, though, to be honest. But to me, the Bills regressed this year, and that shows to me more of what Daboll brought to the Bills than what McDermott has. I don't really think that it's 100% need to fire McDermott like it was with Staley and the Chargers, but that was just my takeaway from this game. I thought it should have been a lot closer than it was, and to me that speaks on McDermott's coaching than anything else. That's just my takeaways from it.
If you're going off that 5-year thing, does that mean Josh Allen is never going to win a Super Bowl?
No. That means the duo of head coach and Josh Allen will never win a Super Bowl.
Okay, I thought you were saying quarterback screwed totally.
No. It's the duo combo of head coach and quarterback.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily quarterback or head coach separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, my thoughts on the game were exactly as Nick's. It went exactly as I expected.
You want to go, Justin?
I already went.
Oh, you did. That's right. I'm sorry, spacing out. Yeah, I would. I thought it was gonna be just a smidge closer, but I really did think the Bengals would handle the Bills. And I think everybody was overhyping the passion they were gonna play with for DeMar and stuff like that. I actually thought I was gonna react the other way. I don't know if it did, but I honestly thought it was gonna affect them the opposite way, where they wouldn't play as well because he wasn't there, and because of what had happened. I feel like that maybe they weren't still dealing with that. I don't know, obviously, but I'm not surprised it was 27-10. But once I saw the snow too, I also thought it might be a little closer because of that. But either way, I think it went as a lot of us expected.
I'm just gonna say I think the snow went in the Bengals' advantage because they have a better run game. That's my only thought there.
They have a significantly better running back. It almost feels like the Bills don't have a running back at points. So, okay. We'll talk a bit about so the 49ers Cowboys game. This is the only game of the weekend that did not go the way that I expected. And by that, I wasn't surprised that the 49ers won. I definitely thought that Dallas would put up a better fight. I thought it'd be a very close game and that Dak would throw an interception in the game-winning drive. Or I don't know. That's pretty much what happened. I don't know.
Did you expect Zeke to snap the ball in the final play of the game? Was that in your bingo card?
That
Nick?
was not in my bingo card. In fact,
Bro,
that was
the Cowboys.
That was on the bingo card that I actually made, and I was like, nah, this will never happen.
Bro, the Cowboys looking like the Colts.
Mhm.
Dude,
That was tough.
that was
Um,
such
That was
a funny
awful.
play. That's play, Jake, was one of the funniest plays I have ever seen
Ever.
watching the football game.
I think here's the thing too. I think, ironically, I think it could have semi-worked. He throws it to a receiver who doesn't have a blocker in front of him, and all the linemen on each side just ran away from him. I was like, what? That's why you're out there. That's why Zeke is the one lineman who's snapping it, because you guys are supposed to go down the field in front of that receiver. You're freaking 300 pounds. Run down there, knock him over, and let the guy run. Was the funniest thing to me.
No. Go ahead, Austin. Sorry.
Did you guys see the catch by George Kittle where, hit him in the hand, then hit him in the face?
Yeah,
Constantly?
Diggs
Okay.
needed to blow him up on that play.
Did he enter in as a eligible receiver?
I mean, he's a tight end.
I mean,
He was inside. If you look, he was on the inside of the.
They don't need to report
line.
it. They don't need to report as eligible as long as it's if it was was it unbalanced and they had a lineman on the left, or was he inside a tackle?
He was inside a tackle.
Oh, then probably.
That's what I was wondering. I didn't know if you guys had seen it because I saw some people talking about like, hey, that didn't thinking he had
he
reported
probably
as
had
eligible.
to, but I mean that could be a clear miss from the refs in general. Like, would you expect Kittle to not report? Like,
Well,
how
just saying
often
that
does he
if he
use
went on
this
the
and
inside,
not?
he would have had to report as eligible
Yeah.
for him to then go downfield, obviously. So I was just curious if anybody knew if he did. Because if not, and he didn't report in, then that's a huge play
that
in
yeah.
that game.
Is
huge
anybody,
miss.
is anybody else's reaction to this other than it's exactly what we thought it was?
I kind of saw this happening. To be like, I did put money on the Cowboys winning just because I could have seen this going either way, but I'm not shocked at the result, to be honest.
Okay, I mean, I'm good to
Yeah.
move on to the
Yep.
Giants-Eagles game.
Before we do, I just want my best friend is a Cowboys fan, and I texted him and I was like, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And he was like, "Dude, I don't want to fucking hear it."
The only thing,
That was my great takeaway from this weekend is that I got to at least both our teams didn't make it out of this weekend. So that was my takeaway from it.
I'm a little sad. Like, I'm glad that the 49ers won, but I'm a little sad Dallas didn't because my boss went to both the Dallas games.
Oh,
And he literally texted me during. I was like, "Wait, you went to the second game too?" He's like, "Yeah," because I saw it on his story, and then he goes, "Well, if they win this, I'll take you to Philly." I was like, "Bet," and then they lost. And I was like, "No!" At that point, I was a huge Cowboys fan.
God told you not to go to Philly.
I know, but I'm sad because
Philly
he was
is a
gonna take
scary
me to the
place.
freaking
Philly
NFC
is a
Championship.
scary place. Though, Austin. Like,
I bet he's never going back to
I was gonna put on
Cowboys game.
the Philly shirt so that he could be the one getting beat up when I'm like,
Oh man! All right,
All
all
right,
right.
can we
Yeah,
let's just skip this
Nick-
last game.
Let's
Nick,
just talk
skip
about
over
my
it.
favorite game of the weekend. And how. So here's the thing. I didn't bet on any of these games this weekend because, to be honest, I wasn't comfortable with it. But I was like, I bet against the Giants. The least I could do is give them the odds when they're plus 21.5 to have a chance to lose by anything less than 22 points. Well, as you all know, they decided to say, fuck me, and lose by 31 or so, whatever the hell it was. It was a lot. It was more than
31.
22.
It was 31.
So,
yeah, it was bad.
if I didn't already feel this already, fuck the Giants and everything that they live for. And that's all I really have to say. The Eagles should win this game. They're significantly the better team. I have nothing nice to say. Daniel Jones looked like shit. Truthfully, he really did, and Kyle will agree. The only person that
hold
looked decent that game was Saquon, and even Brian Dable's amazing coaching couldn't cover up their subpar quarterback. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna let you all go before me because I have a lot to say about this game.
You want to go, Jake?
Honestly, my only reaction is I thought the Eagles were going to win. I thought it would be closer, maybe like 10, 15 points. I think it's hard to play a team 3 times in a season, so the Eagles kind of impressed me with that. I will say that we had the entire NFC or the entire conference championship games right when we did the playoff predictions earlier. So, yes,
Nice.
that's really all I got to say about it. Austin, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just surprised that the Eagles lost. Not the Eagles. The Giants lost this bad. I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit closer, not a ton. again, we all kind of said it. How good was the run game going to be with Saquon, and are the Eagles able to stop it? I mean, they in the end, what was his final tally for that?
How many yards?
Saquon?
Yeah, how many yards does Saquon have?
Let me get that. I have the game pulled up.
Because Gainwell had the most at 112 yards, and Saquon had 61. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the Eagles did a good job
And-
defending Saquon.
and half of that came on one play of 39. So
Ooh.
Correct.
yeah, but here's the crazy. That's because they were down. To be fair, he only had 9 attempts. So like, he probably would have had better if he had been able to. If they could have gotten like tie with him or had a lead. But I mean, as soon as they went down 14-0 in the first, and then down another, what was it? Now at that point it was 28, right? So yeah, 28 at half. I was like, yeah, this is definitely over. They're not the Chargers. They're not going to let them come back. Yikes. I mean, after the first quarter, I was like, yeah, I don't think the Giants are winning this one. Doesn't look like it at all. Daniel Jones looks like complete crap. So, I mean, expected the Eagles to win. Expected them to win handily. But I did not expect 31 on the Giants. At least if they were going to put up 7. Wow. I mean, that's yikes.
Justin, you got
Justin.
anything?
We all said it kind of. I was expecting the Eagles to win because they always seem to be a better team. I was not expecting by that much. And I was thinking of a joke, if only we had like a New York Super Bowl if the Bills had won. And the Giants had won, because then it would have been just a statehood Super Bowl.
Fun fact, neither of the teams that have New York in their name play in New York.
Bro,
That's
play,
true,
they
'cause
play
I
in
hate.
fucking New
Let
Jersey.
me tell you right now. Before you guys, that thing pisses me off so much because it shouldn't fucking matter. They both started in New York. They both got their histories in New York.
It matters,
So what?
dog.
That New York is
It
the
does
largest
matter.
metropolitan city that they can't build a football stadium in New York. Suck it. They're 10 seconds away from New York City. Suck it in. Get
They're
over
not
it.
in
Doesn't
New York,
matter.
dog. They're not in New York.
Change your name to the New Jersey
Fuck no.
trash
Go to the
cans.
East Rutherford Giants.
Yeah.
If that's the case, let's change it to the Foxborough Patriots.
Well,
or
we're
the
in New England. It doesn't
we're- yeah,
matter.
they're in
We're in
New
New
England.
England, dog.
Santa Clara 49ers, the
I'm fine with that.
The Oxford Hills Bills,
Orchard Hills,
Miami,
big dog.
whatever, the Miami Gardens Dolphins. I can go on
Hold
and
on a
on.
minute. Orchard Hills is a suburb of Buffalo. East Rutherford, New Jersey, is not a suburb of New
Yes,
York.
it is.
No, it's
yes,
not.
it is. It's
No,
considered.
not.
It's considered. Yes, it is. Look it up. It's considered a suburb of New York City. Suck a
That
dick,
makes-
Jake.
that
Get
makes
over
no
it.
fucking sense.
Get over it.
All right, go ahead and talk
Anyway.
about. Go ahead and talk about how your team took a fat L. All right.
First
Hoboken
off,
hillbillies.
Listen. This team got my hopes up and crushed it like it was. It just took my heart, ripped it out of my chest, and squeezed it out like it was from the Indiana Jones movie. Like that's what this team did to me. I had my hopes up for this game so high. I was so prepared. I wasn't expecting to fully win, but I wasn't expecting to lose by 31 fucking points. I was so mad after the first quarter, let alone after halftime, let alone after the third quarter. I was upset after the first quarter of this game.
Oh man.
The team did not look good. Dable was out-coached. Saquon was out-rushed. Like, everything about this game was a disaster. I don't think Daniel Jones looked that bad, to be honest. He had one mistake, one very clear mistake that really cost them. Because
Can
I
you
think
even
that
say
really...
it cost him when you lose by 31?
Well, no, I mean, I think it took away whatever momentum we were gonna gain. I think because like at that point we were down 14, and that interception, like we weren't even really marching, like we weren't even at half field yet. So like, I
Oh,
don't really
man.
think it took away all the momentum, but I think it really took away the morale. Like I think that interception, it really like the team was like, "Fuck, we're outplayed." Like I think is
Yeah.
literally what that interception did. Like I think it just took out because like this team has come back from like 14-0 scores before. So like I think they were going into that drive like we've done this before, boys. We can do it. And then that interception, and they were like, "Fuck, dude, we're
Psych.
so outplayed." I think that was DJ's really one mistake. Every other thing that he's been criticized for, I think, was just the lack of skill on the wide receiver end. There were a couple balls that I think were badly thrown, which are another couple mistakes, but a lot of quarterbacks have those errors.
Yeah, that
Obviously-
Richie James drop though.
Dude, I know. That
Bro.
Richie James drop was brutal. Fun fact: he was the wide receiver 1 coming into this game.
Yep.
He was our practice squad wide receiver coming into the season. So there you go on our wide receivers we had on this team.
You know who they should have had as wide receiver 1 in the wide receiver 1 spot? Kenny Galladay. He would have.
You know who
He would have made a
refused to
huge
be-
difference.
You know who was the wide receiver 1 coming into the playoffs and refused to play? Kenny Galladay. Fun fact, he said that in his quote. He didn't want to play anymore. So I'm assuming he's going to get dropped or whatever from this team. So that's fine. I don't care.
But
But
wants to play somewhere with a good QB. You know.
Oh
Nick,
my god.
Nick, I'm genuinely so annoyed.
All
at you
right,
saying
boys.
this.
All right, boys.
This is ridiculous.
Let's move on to the championship games, please. Let's do that. Nick, what do you
it's
got,
so
buddy?
ridiculous.
Hey, the Giants made it further than the Patriots, so there's really not much else to say about it. So, anyways, championship games.
We are
have-
perfect.
We guessed this. Did we get anything? We guessed the Chargers to beat the Jaguars, right?
I think so, but I think 2 of us had the Jags. We have some stuff wrong, but we are perfect when it comes to the championship games.
Cool. Okay, so Bengals versus Chiefs. Well, to be frank, I think that I'm gonna stick with my original prediction. I said if the Bengals got here, they win again. It's really nothing against Pat Mahomes. They played each other this season?
Yeah, the
not
Bengals
his-
won. The Bengals won.
Yeah, it's not his fault. He's got to play Joe Burr.
Yeah, I mean, that Cincinnati team looked amazing in the snow. So and to be honest, I'm pretty sure that Tyreek Hill last year was a big reason why the Chiefs had a chance in that game.
Yep.
And he's gone. Now they've figured it out this year with the team that they have. But the Bengals don't feel like a team you're gonna figure it out against, aka the Bills. So I think that the Bengals have a really good shot at this, which is what we predicted overall. And I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. I think it's a Bengals dub here.
I'm same. I don't think I love Patty, but yeah, it's just what are you gonna do against a freaking Joe Burrow when you got the J train's coming and there's nothing you can do about it. So
I'm also gonna say I just think Cincinnati's a more complete team. That's really where it comes down to. So
can we just talk about how they were? Like we talked about how incomplete they were like 2 seasons ago. They've done a really good job.
yeah, they've done a great job. I mean, perfect. Kyle, what do you got with the Cincinnati and the Chiefs game?
My pick is solely based on this quote I heard from this weekend, and this quote was based on Joe Burrow's high school coach, who said, "If he wasn't a ball player, I think he would be a serial killer because he's so calm, cool, collected under pressure." If that
Bro, that's
doesn't tell me,
ridiculous.
if that doesn't tell me how cold this man is, that does like Bengals by 20. That's all I'm saying. Like.
Bro, no, don't do that.
No. In all seriousness, I do think the Bengals will win this game. I don't think it will be. I think it will be competitive because you can never leave out Pat Mahomes and Kelsey and the Chiefs as a whole.
What was the score last time?
It was close. Oh wait, this year? I
Like
have no
last
idea.
year. Yeah.
I will find that for you in 30 seconds.
But continue, Kyle.
Joe,
Joe
ahead.
Burrow is just a beast, and it was 27-24, by the way.
Okay, I thought it was close.
It was close.
Oh, yeah, it
they
was
had
overtime.
they had a comeback. Bengals had a comeback in the third and fourth quarter. But Bengals to me are just, as Jake said, very complete team. They have top 3 quarterback in the NFL. They have the best wide receiver trio in the NFL. They have top 10 running back. They have their O-line has gotten substantially better. They have an amazing head coach. Their defense has gotten substantially better. Like, to me, this Bengals team is just so complete. As good as Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce are as a duo and as a one-punch combo, I just don't see how the Chiefs can do it. I really don't.
Cool. Justin, do you have any thoughts?
I'm definitely with everyone on Cincinnati winning this. It's gonna be interesting seeing Kansas City, and the Bengals in the conference championships because they both have been teams that have been winning a lot over the past couple of years for like Super Bowls and stuff. If the Chiefs were to win, I would want the Eagles to win, but for the Bengals winning, I hope the 49ers win, just so the game is a little bit easier for the Bengals. Because if
Oh,
the
sure,
Eagles
okay.
win, I feel they have no shot.
Ooh, that's hot
Ooh.
take. I like it.
Let's swing right over. So 49ers versus Eagles. So I mean, I'm just gonna be frank here. I feel like the 49ers got a little exposed. I honestly think that 19 points against a good Dallas defense isn't bad, but Brock Purdy threw no touchdowns, also threw no interceptions. Okay. Pulling a certain quarterback's type stat line here. However, there was like the running backs. Honestly, Christian McCaffrey averaged 3 yards a carry. When was the last time we saw Christian McCaffrey average 3 yards a carry?
Especially on a Niners
Yeah.
O-line.
So he did have a touchdown. Cool. On top of that, Elijah Mitchell also had 3.6 yards a carry. But really, the only person with a good stat line in this game on offense was George Kittle, and on defense, they looked okay. They didn't have to try very hard for the Cowboys to, like the Cowboys scored 12 points, and oh my God, it was a tough 12 points to score. And I don't even fully say it was the 49ers' fault. It just felt like Dak didn't look good. Zeke
No.
if Tony Pollard didn't break his leg or whatever happened.
I'm feeling that in my ankle,
okay.
dog.
Hope the man's okay.
Literally. Oh.
They probably win this game, or at least have a like Tony Pollard makes one play that gives them a touchdown. In my opinion, like I just feel like that's what he's done all year.
Yeah.
He has one huge play a game, and he didn't have a chance to do that. So I think it's at least a tie or it gets closer. But I didn't learn a lot about the 49ers in this game, and therefore I think the Eagles kind of wipe their shoes clean here a little bit. I think it's going to be like a 10-point win by the Eagles. I'm not talking blowout, but I'm talking like Eagles are never really worried once they get to the second half. Even if they're down in the second quarter, I think that by the midway through the third quarter, it's like, okay, yeah, Eagles win this game. So that's kind of how I feel. Similar to the 49ers last week, it was the same sort of story. That's how I feel about it. Kyle?
I think this is a Brock Purdy redemption story. He's going to come out, put his body and his dick on the line, and he's going to win, and he's going to dominate the Eagles, and he's going to crush Nick Sirianni like I hope he does, because I fucking can't stand that man. So, go 49ers.
Said it like a champ.
That's all I gotta say.
Jake?
I'm going to stick with our original pick of the 49ers. Again, I mean, I think this is going to be a very good game. I really do. I think Kyle Shanahan's a great head coach. I think Nick Sirianni's a great head coach. I think you've got two really complete football teams on the defensive side and the offensive side of the football. And again, I think it comes down to whether Brock Purdy turns the ball over, which he hasn't done in the small sample size that we've seen, which is about half a year now. And I mean, I think a Bengals 49ers matchup is better than a Bengals Eagles matchup. I don't know why I feel like that. Off the top of my head, I think that's just a better matchup. I think it's a great game. I think that becomes a great game, and the storyline of first overall pick versus last overall pick just makes a lot of sense to me. I think that storyline is beautiful if Brock Purdy can get to a Super Bowl and Joe Burrow wins. Obviously, that's the only way that happens. But I'm going to stick with my original 49ers pick. I think we had the Eagles as a group. I think I had the 49ers as, like, personally. So I'm going to stick with the 49ers here.
I'm with you. I'm pretty sure I had 49ers getting to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. So I'm going to go with you on that. I think it really does come down to how Brock Purdy plays. He went 13 of 19 last week for, I think it was like 200 something yards. I want to say it was, I have it right here. Yeah, he had 214. Oh, sorry, not 13. That was looking at the wrong he was 19 of 29, but still a good completion percentage, 219 or 214 yards. I think they need some better run production. But if George Kittle is going to be the George Kittle we've seen, like he did this week, and go for 95 yards and 5 targets, it's going to be pretty hard having Deebo Samuel along with him, Christian McCaffrey. I just think they have a lot of weapons. I think they have more than the Eagles do, just a little bit. Like, I like those weapons better for Brock Purdy. So I'm thinking, it's a close game again. I think Purdy's going to have to throw for a touchdown in this. I don't think it'll be 19-12 because I think Philly will put the pressure on the Niners to score. So I'm thinking 24-27 to like 17 or 20, something like that. It's like a close game like that. So I think the 49ers are going to probably win by like a touchdown or so. That's what I think.
Okay, so I guess we'll wait. We'll wait till we do the actual Super Bowl prediction until we have it, until we actually know what the matchup is. Either way, I think that this is on both sides the best matchup likely that we think could have happened, which means that these should be 2 great games. They should be fun. Should be fun to bet on. Should be fun to watch. Just in general, should be a good time.
Fun to see Kyle lose money.
Oh,
Don't wish that upon me. Come on.
Well, that was mean.
Never wish that he loses
doing?
money. Although I do have a suspicion that as soon as I said I bet on the Giants, the Cows said they're going to lose anyways. I hope they lose by 22. So
I did not say that. I said, in fact, I said if they lose by 21, I'll be just as mad as you, which I am just as mad as you. So listen.
Anyways, so fair enough. Okay, so that was that. We'll definitely talk about next week once we know what the actual matchup is. We might go more in depth on a little bit more, as it looks like Jake is absolutely sloshing down. Dude, I wish I was whatever he was eating, to be honest.
Bro, I'm smashing pasta. I haven't eaten since 10:30 this morning.
Dude, I've never wanted to be named pasta more until this moment. So,
Oh my.
we'll talk a
Speaking
little.
of pasta, I think
well-
this is a great segue.
Well, about what? Oh yeah.
What's David Pastrnak
We're
going?
actually going to talk about one thing real quick because I don't feel like we're going to talk about it a ton.
No, we're not.
MLB Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
So that was the actual voting, or the submission for voting was today. One of the
No,
two.
the actual voting was today.
Okay, the
Yeah.
actual voting. I don't really know how their process works comparatively, but yeah, their voting was today. So we found out the official inductees in the Hall of Fame. There were 2. Kyle, you messaged if you want to say them.
Yeah, Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff are the 2 Hall of Famers being inducted this summer. I don't really know much about Fred McGriff, I'll be honest. But I know Scott Rowland is one of the greatest third basemen to play of our generation. So that'll be really cool. He's one of the. We're really starting to get into the players that we watched growing up when we were young kids getting inducted now. So this is really cool to start seeing. I remember watching Scott Rowland when the 2006 World Series for the Cardinals versus the Tigers. That was so much fun to see him play during that. So I'm really enjoying to see the list of players get inducted now. The way there were a couple big players who just missed out on the percentage. Todd Helton missed out. Andrew Jones, Gary Sheffield, Carlos Beltran, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, they all missed out on the percentage. So they will be they are eligible to be nominated and elected next year. So we shall see.
I do not think Alex Rodriguez will probably ever make the Hall of Fame.
I unfortunately am inclined to agree with that statement.
Because this is my, if Barry Bonds is not going to get in, he cannot get in. So
I agree.
It's a great career for both of them, and if they hadn't juiced, they'd be in right now. Unfortunately, they did. So I got to hold them out. I know people, that know A-Rod stuff that would say, "Oh, Ortiz got in," stuff like that, and he shouldn't. But he didn't.
Ortiz was never confirmed.
Yes,
he was never.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. I'm pretty sure.
Early career. Early in his career.
But it wasn't
so when he sucked.
bad. It wasn't bad like
when he was bad.
it was for the other ones. Yeah. Unlike A-Rod's, where it came out, he fought it. Okay, he admitted it, and then came back and used HGH after that. Fought it again. Got the biggest suspension ever, which was like 170 something. It was ridiculous.
It was like an entire year.
Yeah, actually, I think he actually got more. I think it was a year and a half. Either way, it was ridiculous. It was over a full season.
Ortiz admitted it in the 2004 interview, but he did test positive in 2003.
Okay.
So Ortiz did do it. It was very early in his career, but it only happened once. Unlike A-Rod, that happened 3 fucking times.
Gosh.
Bro, how dumb can you be?
There's a reason his nickname was A-Royd. Like,
yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like,
I thought his nickname was A-Royd.
The problem was there was a little bit more than A-Royd. It was more like a lot of roid.
Honestly, I thought his nickname was A-Hole, so that's fine.
Hey, that's true. Yankee fans don't love A-Rod either, to be honest. A lot of Yankee fans appreciate what he brought to the roster that won the World Series, but as a whole,
we don't win that without him.
Yeah, like as a whole, we're like, we don't love him, but we don't like hate him as much. But like,
yeah,
he's kind of just like.
The only intriguing thing to me about A-Rod is that he played shortstop for the Rangers and then transitioned to third base for the Yankees. That's the only intriguing fucking thing about him.
Fun fact: he also
was
played for the Mariners. He played with he was drafted by the Mariners and played there during him and Jeter's early part of their careers, and they were rivals actually. So fun fact.
They were both
shortstops.
Both as shortstops, and when they first came out in the 96, right?
Yeah.
They were both like the next great shortstops, and they were fighting against each other for that like fame spotlight. Jeter grabbed it because actually I'd say they pretty much split it early on in their career because Jeter got it because of the World Series titles that he won.
Also because Jeter was in a bigger market, though. He was in the
bigger market.
The biggest baseball market you can be in. A-Rod was in probably one of the smallest baseball markets you can be in. So
that didn't help him, but then Jeter won it, so he took most of the spotlight. But because of how good A-Rod, he didn't need the roids. That's what I hate about these.
Good,
he was so good. But anyways, we'll move on.
Yeah, we're getting off track.
Boys. So let's go ahead and move right on into the next piece here. We're going to talk about the NHL. We're going to talk about the newly updated NBA All-Star setup here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Now, I do have it set up to the NHL.com. And we're just going to go down the rosters. There are some names on here I talked about that are not a surprise. There are some names that are a little bit of a surprise, and there's some names that just kind of make sense. So Kyle, I want to comment on these a little bit, and then I want to get your thoughts as well. Rather than have you read off. So Sidney Crosby, it is Sidney Crosby. There's really not much else to it. I really don't think we need to talk about him at all. Johnny Gaudreau making it even after in his first season with the Blue Jackets. I know he's been playing well. That is great for him. I don't think there's much to talk about there. I'm going to skip a few names. Ovi making it. Fantastic. You love to see both him and Crosby making it there. You can talk about this more. I think it's pretty straightforward. Panarin's been playing crazy good this year. Adam Fox has also been playing crazy good this year. Those are what feel like, other than Igor, who's also on this list, we'll just get him out of the way, like the 3 main heartbeats of this team, and luckily they are one on each piece of the ice, if you will. Offense, defense, and goalie. Other than those names, I know we could talk. Ilya Sorokin has played really well this year for a team that's been subpar. I know you'll probably talk a little bit about that. I know some of these other teams here, but I'd love to get your input at this point for the rest of them.
To me, so the way the NHL does their All-Stars is they try and take one player from every single team to be represented, which is why you see players such as Johnny Gaudreau and Kevin Hayes being represented on these All-Star rosters, even though they're not having amazing seasons. They don't really get to do all of the best players every single year, which kind of stinks.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But they try and get every single team represented. So they take the best player from each team, essentially, and then they do the fan vote, which it seems like New York fans really came out and dominated, because 4 of the players from the Metro Division were from the fan vote, are from New York-based teams. In Ilya
there's 5 New
Sorokin,
York
Adam,
teams, but-
Ilya Sorokin, Adam Fox, and Artemi Panarin were all fan votes. So,
What
which is
about
crazy
Brock
to me.
Nelson? Was Brock Nelson just a...
Brock Nelson was, it was either Brock Nelson. No. Brock Nelson was the original Islander who was voted by the league because Igor was the one goalie.
Cool.
But to me, the real weird representative here is Kevin Hayes.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know why you do. I mean, the Flyers fucking suck. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean,
You know what's weird? The Flyers are 500. How the fuck are they 500, dude?
hey,
I
they
don't
start off the
understand.
season like 8-1 or something. Or something
Dude,
gross.
yeah, I don't get it though. The roster's awful. They're terrible.
They're playing
But
good
anyway.
hockey, Kyle.
Yet,
Okay.
They
aren't
are
that
playing
far
good
behind
hockey.
the Rangers. So
They are actually. That's what's funny is they are that far behind. But anyway, it's
they're
besides.
still
the point.
playing better than whenever you're a fan of them. So they play pretty good.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes. The moving on to the Atlantic Division. Okay. There's a lot more names on this list that feel like they just make sense.
Yeah,
Kucherov,
makes
Mitch
sense.
Marner, who's been
Makes
playing
sense.
fantastic. Austin Matthews right next to Mitch Marner. Pasternak, who's third in the league in goals last I knew, but I know he's at 26 or 27. Other obvious ones, Matthew Tkachuk, he's been playing really good. Vasilevsky and Allmark. What do these stars mean? Are stars?
The Stars are,
That's got to be fan votes, right?
I believe so.
All-star fan
Yep.
vote. Okay, I now have an issue with this. You're telling me Pasternak, who has the third most goals in the league, wasn't on this list already? Before
It had to have been Allmark.
They gave it to Olmark. So remember, I said they do one team. They do one
Yeah,
player
I
from
gotcha.
every team automatically.
Okay. Yeah.
So they gave it to Allmark, who's having the best year of any goalie in the league.
Fair
right now.
enough.
So
Fair enough.
that's what they did.
Also, I must say, the fact that Brady and Matthew are together on a team makes me extremely happy because they are hilarious together.
And brothers.
Yes.
They
Yes.
are brothers. I remember when their dad played in the league, and their dad was an All-Star, and both of so a lot of players bring their kids to the All-Star game and they let them participate in it. And their dad was in the All-Star Breakaway Challenge, and he let them participate in the All-Star Breakaway Challenge. So you see Matt and Brady at like 7 and 5 years old participating in the Breakaway Challenge. And who knew 10 years later they'd be getting the chance to do it themselves. Like, it's so cool. I'm happy that they get to be on the same roster because Matthew Tkachuk played the majority of his career with the Calgary Flames up until he was just traded this past season. So
Yeah.
that's really cool that they'll get to be on
Yeah.
the same All-Star team now.
Yeah, and it's cool like seeing them play each other. It's always funny, but like this is really cool they're on the same team. They're really the only not obvious names on here, even though we'll talk. They're pretty good. Dylan Larkin, he is by far the best player on Detroit. He is very, very.
He
good.
is having a atrocious year though. Like,
Yes.
not
And
atrocious,
still-
but a good year for the Red Wings.
Grits, those two young defensemen also are not having the greatest year in the world. either.
No, they're not.
That whole team's kind of in
Yeah.
shambles. Nick Suzuki doesn't feel like the best player on Montreal, but he kind of has been.
He is this
Question.
year, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yes.
Question: Why are there no defensemen in the Atlantic Division?
I was just looking at that.
They don't care about that.
They don't need. So defensemen aren't 100% needed for the All-Star game because it's 3-on-3.
Okay,
They play for the
okay,
All-Star
I
game.
didn't know that. Thank you for that.
It's
Yeah,
a very fun
because-
3-on-3. It's usually like 11-8 or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's
like,
extremely
over.
high scoring.
Okay.
So there hasn't really been any All-Star players in the Atlantic Division on defense this year. It's really been goalies and forwards have been the standouts. Clearly, that's why
mean,
they're on there also.
I will say, Hampus Lindholm, before he slowed down, would have been on this list probably, but he has slowed
Probably, but he has slowed down. To
he's
me,
still
the
good.
real, yes, he has been really good this year. But to me, the big standout has been Tage Thompson, who
Yes, I was gonna say 5-goal game.
for a small period, like looking in December, he was close to running away with the goals for the season, having the goal title. He has slowed down this past month so far a little bit, but Buffalo was looking like they might make the playoffs, which was definitely not on my radar at the beginning of the year.
It was
so-
on mine when we talked about it, just so you know.
Yes.
I was one of those fighting for them to be a fifth wild card, or second wild card.
which is I'm happy that Buffalo has stepped up because I didn't think they would. I thought they were going to struggle goalie wise, but they have been real good this year. So
Yes.
sneaky.
So, I do say that Linus Allmark will be the first ever goalie to have a shutout in an All-Star game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Before we move on to the Central, I am actually extremely happy for Linus Olmark because he's getting to play in his first All-Star game, and he 100% deserves it.
Yeah, he's 20.
playing
He has
unreal.
25 wins and 1 loss.
Bro's on his way to the
say,
Vezina. What do you mean?
I was just gonna say, how many losses does he have?
It's
he's
either one.
None.
insane, dude. He's insane.
It is statistics. Here we go. Well, first of all,
He is
25 2-1. So he has a total of 3
insane.
losses, 2 in
Dude.
regulation, 1 in overtime. He's winning the Vezina this year, right? Like there should be.
There's
If
no
he doesn't-
question.
If he doesn't, we riot. I'm saying, like,
We riot.
He has under a 2 goals. He would have to lose out every game he plays, realistically, to like really drop out of under 2 goals a game in a .938. Like that's insane. Okay. So
Moving on.
We can talk a little bit quicker about these because neither of our teams are in it. But a lot of the make sense names, obviously, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Jason Robinson. Obviously, he's still up there in goals. I don't think he's number 2 anymore.
I
but
don't believe so.
He's fallen off, but he's still good. Vladimir Tarasenko feels like he's having his comeback year. This is where we actually have defensemen, and they're 2 of the best in the league, and Cale Makar, who's probably the best in the league, or damn close. And then Seth Jones. Josh Morrissey, he must be the best Winnipeg player. Besides
Josh Morrissey is so underrated.
Okay,
So
I've heard his
underrated.
name. I don't know a lot about him.
Oh man, but he's
and
really
then Connor
good.
Hellebuck he's like the #1 goalie in the league this year. It's not Linus Allmark, or pretty damn close to it. Igor's up there as well. They're all up there. And then Saros, I always love seeing him here because he is always the best player on the Predators. Really for the last 8 years. So, yeah.
Not that long, like 4. But
Ever since never mind.
Pecorine retired, which was
Yeah, that's true.
4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, well, whenever he retired,
Whenever,
yes.
yeah.
I am super happy for Clayton Keller because God knows he's on a hell of a team. So I'm
Poor
happy for
Clayton
him.
Keller, man.
This is all
I
he
feel
has.
bad for all Coyotes players. Speaking
all
of
he
Coyotes, I love their 3rd jerseys that they just released. Can you look those up really quick, Nick?
Yes. Did you see the goalies with the pads?
Yeah, dude, those. I don't know why these jerseys are getting a lot of hate, but I really like these jerseys. Not gonna lie, like I think these are. It's the font one. Let's see if.
It's this one right here.
Yeah, there it is.
That looks like a
it.
winter sweater.
It looks. The whole theme of it is the desert at night is what they're going for.
Goalie,
I thought it looked so good.
Dude, I am smoking words right now.
There's an A there. Just type 3rd jersey. You'll be able to find it better. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just gonna the jersey, 3rd jersey. Here you go.
Go to images. You'll find it.
It looks like a ugly
Like
sweater
Ollie.
party.
It's definitely in images. Yeah, there you go.
No, it's not here. It's pissing me off.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
surprised.
Back to the NHL All-Stars.
Okay, Kyle.
Back on track,
talking,
boys.
keep talking about anyone else on here that you want to talk about?
There's no other real standouts on the Central Division side. I do think, like, you looking at it, there are a couple players that I'm kind of like, why are they here? Like Vladimir Tarasenko. Like, you did say he's having a comeback year, but he's only had 29 points this year, so like, meh, I guess, kind of comeback year. But oh, there are his pads, Nick. I just saw them.
Where are they?
Go back Twitter, scroll down real quick. There they are.
Oh,
No.
dude.
Those are
I saw
nice.
different ones, but they are.
Dude.
Oh, that's what I saw. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
There's a picture of the whole thing, though. I need to find these. Keep going, Kyle.
So like there are a couple players that I'm really excited to see in this. Josh Morrissey's been so underrated. He has 41 assists for them. Nick's got the goalie pads pulled up.
Tell me
right
this
now,
isn't
so-
dope. They have
Dude.
the cactuses on the. That's dope.
Dude.
That's the-
I don't understand why people are getting hate for these jerseys. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
Okay,
anyway,
we can
moving
quickly
on.
talk about this. Connor McDavid, who will have about 20 of these by the time his career is over. um,
If he doesn't get an all-star appearance for every year he plays, something's wrong. Like he deserves to
Draisaitl,
be.
who will probably have about
Yes.
12.
Yeah, he's on his way.
Bo
to
Horvat,
just
the
money.
future Bruin, who is going to continue to kill here. Dude,
Fun
how,
fact,
how mad are you going to
definitely-
be if he goes to the Bruins?
I'll be more mad. I don't care if he goes to the Bruins. I'll be more mad if he's traded in general because if you, we are releasing a video soon of NHL trade predictions,
I believe
and I
that's
do
tomorrow.
say, so it will be released tomorrow. There you go. I don't think Bo Horvat is going anywhere. But stay tuned to watch that video to see all the details of that. That is
Love
being
it.
released tomorrow.
I will leave it be. Then Nazem Kadri, Elias Pettersson, all the arts. Is it? It's Pettersson. Yes.
Yeah, Patterson.
Eric Carlson is getting his old age.
He's
the
coming
only-
back. He's coming
So
back.
Logan
baby.
Thompson's doing good. Stuart Skinner felt like a surprise for me, to be honest, out of this whole
Yeah,
list.
I agree.
And Kevin Fialo, he's played well, but still felt weird. I felt
To
like
me,
should've
the
been
biggest
Kopitar.
surprise is definitely Stuart Skinner because he hasn't played that great. But I mean, he was a fan vote. Fans do crazy shit. So
Yeah, that's fair. And
um,
Kevin Fialo over Kopitar, I have some questions, but okay.
I do too. I also have questions, but you know the one I'm really excited to see is Matty Beniers.
I am
rookie.
super excited for the young
Dude, the
buck.
rookie. The rookie is coming in. I can't wait. I'm
He's the best
excited.
player on their team because the rest of their team's kind of mid. So,
And
anyways,
yet they are in third place, second
so
place.
Kyle, who
something like
wins?
that?
By the way, the All Star game? I think it's either the Atlantic.
It's
or
either the
Metro.
Electric or Metro, but I'm gonna go with the Atlantic, only because having that just having Pasta, Austin Matthews, Nikita Kucherov, Mitchell Marner, just on the forward standpoint alone, is gonna be insane. Although they don't have to play much defense. So then having Vasilevsky and Olmark to be there just in case they decide not to play defense at all. So my prediction is the
all.
Atlantic Division will win.
I think
also,
I don't think it's that close either. By the way, because if your third line is Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, and whoever the hell, they're hating you a lot.
Also, Nick, really quick, look up the All-Star jerseys that they have for this game.
Okay.
They are fire.
I've
Love
seen
these
it.
jerseys.
Oh, not All Star game.
Jerseys. Yeah, All-Star jerseys.
I spelled jerseys wrong. It's fine.
Wow,
We don't talk
what a
about
Bro.
it. We don't talk
What
about
a
it.
Ooh.
Oh, so fire! I am buying an Eastern jersey. It is in my cart on Fanatics.com, so that will be shipped some point soon.
That's
I
pretty
may
dope.
I may buy a Western Conference jersey just for shits and giggles. Not gonna lie, because
What about
those
Mountain
look-
and Central?
So
Okay.
they're doing it by conference, not by division. So the Atlantic,
Oh.
the Atlantic and Metropolitan Division will share the same jersey. Same with the Central and Pacific Division.
Okay.
They have done it by division in the past, but this year they decided to just do it based.
I can't
on
wait till the
conference.
Metro and the Atlantic play each other in the final. It's going to be the same jerseys.
That'll
Anyways,
be fun to watch.
okay, we're going to move on to the NBA All-Star Game. Now, we've already talked about this a bit, so really it's just going to be an update. And to be honest, the main update is that Jaylen Brown has come all the way up to third in the guards list from like 5th or 6th. And Jason Tatum is up to third in the front court from 4th. So those are the big ones on the side that we care about. Otherwise, LeBron's definitely going to be the leader here. Giannis is overtaking KD, so therefore it will likely be LeBron versus Giannis.
That is a
for the
close
spot.
vote.
However, they also announced, I think today or yesterday, that the actual team choices will be done the night of the All-Star game.
Ooh.
So that's going to be interesting.
That would be fun.
That's what they said, at least, the same night. So we'll see. Also, this person said we should start ban Californians from voting. Interesting. Oh, it's great here. Got it. Anyways, so
Also-
this is pretty cool.
Nicholas
Yes.
Claxton being in the top 10 on this list is absolutely wonderful.
Hey,
He's actually
he's being
playing
gross.
incredible.
Yes.
Um,
The one other note I'll say, on top of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both being top 3 in their All-Star voting, they are both top 10 in MVP voting right now, with Jaylen Brown being at number 10 and Jason Tatum being at now number 2. So, for MVP this year, that's what I mean to say if I did not say that. So, that's pretty cool. Now, does
Go
anyone else-
Derrick Rose. Fuck yeah. I didn't realize he had that many votes. Go Derrick Rose.
It's
He's doing
because he
a
plays in
decent
New
job.
York, dog.
Hey,
help.
yeah, no, but
Listen,
I'm
I
happy
love
for
Derrick
you.
Rose, but like it's because he plays in New York.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Love it.
So, did we want to talk about anything else before we move to our final piece of what we're doing today?
Nah, let's get it.
No, I'm
No.
good. Let's go.
All right,
Okay.
Nick, bring it up.
Our quarterback tier list. That is what we are going to be doing. I need to view this by a little bit closer for the stream, so it's a little bit easier to see.
There you go.
Okay. So I think this is pretty obvious. I don't really see any reason why. I'm of course kidding. However, I do think that we all agree that
Mahomes is one.
Mahomes is number one.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way.
Big facts.
We
I was
might be able to get through a
prepared
lot of these
Jake would
quicker
do a
than I
debate.
thought. Now that I'm starting to think about it, I think at this point, as of today, I think that Joe Burrow has overtaken Josh Allen as the number 2 quarterback. It's not by a lot, but I think he's overtaken him. Is that
I
a
think it's
consensus?
very close, but I still personally would put Josh Allen at 2. But
I think it's Burrow. Burrow is top 2,
I'll
and
accept it.
arguably, I don't think he's number 2. But
Okay,
I'll
Jake
accept
wants
it, but
something, so
I still
not
think
actually. But anyways, Austin, do you have any opinion on the food you're eating or the fact that Joe Burrow is ahead of Josh Allen? You're muted, by the way.
Big Dog is muted.
Did not realize I was muted still. Awkward. I would say yes. Patrick Mahomes probably has to be 1, only for the fact that while I think Joe Burrow is, to me right now, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are the Brady and Rodgers debate, because Rodgers was always considered to be the better actual quarterback, like when it came to just talent-wise and raw talent. Now, I think it's a lot closer in this one than it was with Brady and Rodgers, but I think just because Joe has not yet won a Super Bowl, Mahomes has a slight edge for me in that, where he's taking a team to the promised land, and when you're going based on raw talent and then just numbers and stats, then Mahomes still has to be at the top because he has that one thing for me, which is a championship. So I think if Joe goes this year and wins, then we could really have that debate about.
Awesome. So really, I'm looking at this. So my first thought, this is just a thought because I had a very heated argument with my manager earlier about this exact conversation, which was great. I would be looking somewhere in the realm of Justin Herbert here. Somewhere, I'm just saying the name because I'm trying to get the conversation started. Where do we think of number 4? In an area, like where do you think?
As someone who admittedly did not think Jalen Hurts was going to be great at the beginning of the year, I think it's hard not to put Jalen Hurts at 4 at this moment in time. Don't get me wrong, I think Justin Herbert is a more talented quarterback, but Jalen Hurts has had more success at the very least this year.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you there, Jake. I'm not shy to admit my not liking for Herbert. I don't hate him. I just don't think he should be on the same tier as Mahomes and Josh Allen are. So I do think if we're gonna put him at 4, I'm okay with it. But as a play this year, I do think Hurts does have that slight edge for me.
It's not this year, it's just overall quarterback rankings, but I still have a hard time finding, like, I understand that Herbert probably has more of the stuff you look for, but Hurts' success has been better, if that makes sense.
I am biased towards Herbert, so if the consensus is Jalen Hurts, I get it.
I think Herbert's at least top 5. So if it's not, if it's not Herbert at 4, he's at 5. I think Herbert is probably the best way to go there.
It's hard for me. It's like I want to buff, and part of that's because Herbert has the better like overall stats.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't quite impacted his team the way I think Jalen has so far, to just make them win. Now, I mean, who has the better team? I mean, you can argue either way for that probably. Who's got the better coach? Well, it's obvious. So there's that on top of it, because I mean, it's not like Jalen was extremely successful last season. So it's hard for me to say Hurts is better than Herbert. I think either one flip flop would be fine. Like I don't think it's that clear.
I think it's very close, just because of the Hurts success versus Herbert's talent. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things. Am I nuts to put Trevor Lawrence at 6?
So that's what I
Yes.
was thinking. I don't
That,
know
you
who else
know,
do you put him
oof.
above. Who else do you put above him?
That's
Lamar.
Lamar comes to
Lamar.
mind, but
Okay, so the only other one that
Lamar's
can't,
the only one I would say.
We're talking about right now, right?
Yes, I still
And
would put
right
Lamar
now.
I don't know.
Lamar didn't look that good this season, like compared to even he was hurt a lot, and you have to consider injuries when you look at quarterback ratings because being able to stay not hurt is important. And Trevor Lawrence showed me a lot in that Chargers game, like a lot, and the fact that they went 7-2 to end the season showed me a lot. So that's better than Lamar Jackson.
I think it's going to be Lawrence Lamar, but it's not like a far gap. It's one of those things where it's like the gap is really close again because of Lamar's sustained success, but Lawrence playing better this season.
Looks like I'm outvoted.
I'd have to go. I think with Trevor there. I mean, I don't know who. If we're just going strictly off this season, it's hard to put anybody else.
And we're not just going off this season, but like because I think
I'm
Brady.
going right now. Like where are they? How are they looked at right now in the league? Is my thought process right? Like Lamar is still a commodity, but I would take Trevor Lawrence right now, looking at right now in the future over Lamar Jackson. And yes, injuries do play a part in that.
And I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
The conversation on Lawrence right now is he's arrived, right? Like this is supposed to be the guy. So
Yeah.
I think he just sneaks it out over Lamar a little bit. Looking at the next name on this list, I mean, I don't see a better name than Tom Brady, but I could be incorrect about what you guys are
I'm
thinking.
kind of with you on that. I mean,
My hard part, my boss gave you a really good argument today. Tom Brady had a stellar offense in front of him, even with injuries this year. And
Did he, though?
Yes. Even with
even
with
had
injuries,
Mike Evans almost
yes.
all season. Still had Chris Godwin. Still had Julio Jones. I know there are injuries here and there.
Julio's a shell of himself, and Tom Brady did set the passing completions record. So I mean,
Yeah.
It's not like Tom Brady was bad. His completion percentage was near 70, and he didn't have a run game all year long, and his offensive line was shit. So yeah, he had weapons, but he didn't have time to get to the ball to those weapons.
Tom Brady, he passed for 46, well, basically 4,700 yards in the regular season.
The only thing that brings Brady down is the touchdown numbers at this point. Like,
Okay,
they couldn't
here's how I
score in the
wanna
red
think.
zone.
We are talking right now. We're talking everything. We're talking right now what we've seen, where we are, where we're going.
I'm taking Tom Brady over any name on that list.
So if I were to give you an option right
Yeah.
now, I'd be like, the Patriots right now can have Tom Brady
Yeah.
for whatever that means, or Justin Fields for whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm taking Brady right now.
I'm taking Justin Fields, and that's simply because of where he is right now.
Like, if you're gonna,
I can tell you,
I'm taking Justin Fields for the next 10 years. But if
But
I
that's what I'm
want,
saying. I'm talking everything. I'm talking as a QB right now. You're looking at not only where they've been, not only where they are, but where they're going as a quarterback. And Tom Brady probably has a year or two most. I think, you could win a Super Bowl for the Patriots. I think Justin Fields could win multiple.
I
problem
still think
with that
like-
is
Go ahead, Justin. You're good.
the problem with that argument, Nick, is the fact that Brady already has the connection with the Patriots. That's the only reason I don't think you can try and use that as to why. Because if you look at, like, I know you're saying don't involve the past. Him just going back to
involve the past.
do involve the past.
We're looking at like how they
Well-
played this season, how they played historically. Like Tom Brady's been
To
great.
me, though,
So-
there's still 3 quarterbacks I would still take over where Tom Brady is this year.
I wouldn't.
I would-
Like, if you're giving, let me put this scenario out in front of you. Any one of the names on that list, you need one drive to get you a win. I'm still taking Tom Brady over anybody on that list.
I'm not.
And I don't think it's fucking close.
Okay, I agree with that. But in that
No,
specific scenario, yes. If I need a quarterback that's still able to take hits and is still able to, in this league, you need a quarterback that can move. We saw it with, and I hate doing this, we saw it with Daniel Jones and actually moving his legs this year, how successful the Giants were with it. All of the teams that are still in the playoffs, their quarterbacks move their legs at least a decent amount, like significantly more than Tom Brady ever did. And so for that reason, I think you need a quarterback that's dynamic. That's what you need right now.
I'm not putting Justin Fields in the top 10. That's.
Oh, I absolutely want to.
I don't think. Wait, I don't see why you wouldn't though, Jake. I don't think he.
The problem is you're gonna realize what I was trying to do earlier.
No, I know that you're looking
very thin, very fast.
No, I know you're
very
looking,
fast.
I know what you're looking at when it comes to like future ratings, right? Like I'm understanding that, but I'm personally not taking into account that when I'm looking at this list because I'm looking at the tiers as they are right now. Who would I want for this one season? And I'm not taking anybody on that list over Tom Brady. I mean, maybe. No, I'm not seeing a name. I'm really not.
For me, I hate to admit this because I despise this person with every bone in my body.
Are you about to say Dak Prescott?
No.
Okay.
I am not about to say Dak
Aaron
Prescott.
Rodgers.
I'm about to say Aaron Rodgers. I cannot stand that man, but I would still take Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. I would still personally take Derek Carr. I would take Kyler Murray.
Are you
I would take Aaron
what?
Yes.
Whoa, Derek Carr.
I would.
Let's chill out with Derek
Chill!
Carr.
No!
Kyler Murray, you can make a point.
Kyler Murray. I would take Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields.
Personally,
Tom Brady.
I still think Brady and Rodgers are top 10, and if you have anybody over them, they're 9 and 10. Like
I was only going to put Rodgers
That's fine.
first and then Brady.
I do agree that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are top 10. I think if anything, they're 9 and 10 in my opinion. That's where they are.
Hold on.
Okay, fine. Who are you putting over them, Nick? Because that's really where it's going to be.
Probably the quarterback who's proved the most of everyone on this list in general, and still has the future aspect and all that stuff. It's probably Kyler.
Hold on. Let's. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
Austin.
sorry. I'm not putting Kyler Murray anywhere near my 10 because
Why? Why?
dude, he will not. I'm sorry. He's not going to be.
Your
right?
mic cut out.
Yeah,
Really,
you
is
keep
your mic
cutting
cut out for
on
me?
and off.
Your mic
He's
cut out for me.
okay. So Kyler Murray's 5'9", and what has he proved to you?
Absolutely not.
In the
He proved more than Tom Brady did this year. I'm looking
what?
this year. Yeah, absolutely.
What
that's
Kyler
just
Murray's-
false, dog.
Hold
To
on.
me?
Let me read off Kyler Murray's stats, and you tell me. So 66. At Tom Brady was at 66. They're both at 66% completion percentage. Kyler had 3,700 yards. Brady had another 1,000 over that. And Kyler threw for 14 touchdowns.
Let's keep into
He had
mind
7
here.
picks.
Okay, yes, but I want you to keep in mind who Tom Brady was throwing to, who had a healthy Mike Evans all year, had Chris Godwin, versus who Kyler was throwing to all year.
So he missed
keep that in mind.
DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games. That's obviously 6 games. That's significant. But he had
Hollywood Brown was out for a couple games.
he
then
basically
who's
was
next?
For a while. Hollywood Brown, I think, was out for 6 games as well.
And then who's left? AJ Brown? No. Christian Kirk? He left. Who's left? Who the hell is Kyler throwing to? No one.
No,
Who
who's
is
the
he
other?
throwing
Who's the
to?
other guy that they had?
They have AJ Green, Zach Ertz, and Trey McBride. It's not like
That's
they
what I
don't have
meant. AJ
weapons,
Green.
dog.
Okay,
No,
Trey
who's AJ
McBride
Green
is not
is
relevant
old.
to the
AJ
end
Green
of the
is
season.
not
Bro.
relevant.
Chill out with
Bro.
Trey McBride.
But-
Not relevant to the end of the season. Okay, I'm
Either
okay
way.
with giving up on the Kyler argument because
I'm not. I
this
am not
season
done
was
giving
tough. I don't know about Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Do we have some opinion on that? I don't know about
Listen,
that.
put it.
I'll
Fine.
put-
If Kyle's really mad about it, put Brady at 10 and Rodgers at 11, and we'll figure out who to put above him.
No, I don't want to
No,
do that.
okay.
I'm
I'm
not-
okay compromising with Brady and Rodgers being 10, but I'm not okay with either of them being 8. That's what I'm saying.
Which is
Put-
what we
put-
said.
I agree,
flip
but
that,
you
flip
guys
that.
were saying you guys wanted to put him at 8 anyway, and I was saying how can
Okay,
you put
okay,
Kyler,
okay.
how can you not put
I have
Kyler
a
above him?
re-argument here.
Okay.
Screw Kyler.
Okay.
We're going to talk
Screw
about the
Kyler.
other guy who looked much better than Kyler this year. Same sort of setup, but had a much worse team than Kyler Murray did. Certainly didn't have D-Hop or Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Okay. Justin
Geno
Fields. Geno Smith.
Just put
okay.
Justin Fields at 8, dude. It's fine. I'm good with it.
No.
Justin Fields had no team, and his supposed wide receiver 1 was barely wide receiver 3, it felt like, in Darnell Mooney. It did not feel good for him. Barely
Really
a
quick
running
note,
game.
quick
Running
note.
game. David Montgomery looked awful. Khalil Herbert looked okay, but then he still had to run for, I think it was almost 1,000 yards.
It was close.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
He had a good year. So
To be
this
fair
was-
to David Montgomery, he looked good before he got that injury. week 3.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was all downhill for them. I still don't think Justin should be this high. I think he could be 10, but that's fine. I'm fine with putting Justin.
My only
future stuff.
like not regret, I guess. But my only like thing with Justin Fields is he wasn't as dominant all year long. Like as far as Tom Brady was more dominant than Fields was to me for the year. But like I understand if we're gonna put anyone over Brady and Rodgers, I understand why Fields would be up here because he did it with a lot less. So I understand it. I just personally wouldn't put him this high, but I understand why he should be. Essentially,
yeah. The only thing I think we should switch is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is all that great this year compared to Tom Brady did, and they both had. I know Aaron Rodgers didn't have as great of weapons. I'll give you that, but there's no reason that Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be able to produce better than he did this year. If he's as good as we've always said he is. So, I don't know. But either way is fine.
Like, okay, now the real question becomes, like, the next 3. Are we, like, Kyler, Kirk, and Dak, are those the next 3? Where are we going with that, boys? What's the word?
I think Dak showed a lot of bad. So
Dak showed a lot of bad.
But he still made it further than Kirk. But Kyler didn't do that, but Kyler's talent feels like significantly more than both of them.
I don't know about that. I really don't know about that.
I still think there's a quarterback we're kind of ignoring that could be right in this range here.
Who?
He's going to say Derek Carr.
Deshaun Watson. No, he played like shit this year.
Derek Carr,
too. Deshaun Watson did not look good this year.
If we're going... Okay, but see, here's the thing. If you're going again off of future as well, you have to put it back in because he's going to get to where he was.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if...
I understand he played terrible because he had
in my mind, Deshaun Watson might be like 15th. Like,
I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'm just saying,
12
like, he's
maybe?
in this.
Okay.
I'm saying he's in the same range as where we're at right now. Is what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay with him being at 15.
You know what?
So
put
here's how
him
I
and
feel.
Russell together at like 13, 14.
Yes. Okay. So, Kyler Murray played awful this year. We're talking right now. I'm going to agree with kind of Jake's stance. We're talking right now. I'm going to put Kyler Murray behind both of the guys that we're going to take, which are going to be the guys who both made the playoffs, one of which who made it further in the playoffs. I'm fine with putting Dak here.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know about that, to be honest. I think Kirk was better.
I think Derek Carr's right behind them.
Yeah, we got to be careful because where does Geno go? Geno was actually outplayed a lot.
Geno
of
was a
guys.
fluke. No, Geno was a fluke.
No, we don't know that because
you don't know that.
We don't know that.
The reason I'm saying we don't know that is because he was obviously nobody expected him to be this after all the years like with the Jets and stuff like that. But like the Jets were a terrible team. He didn't have good coaching.
But
what has he done since he left there? He sat behind Russell Wilson and he sat behind. Where else did he sit behind?
He was behind Eli for a year.
Okay, actually,
he's not behind a bunch of good quarterbacks.
I have to move these around again because we're kind of being disrespectful to someone who played really well this year, and because he was hurt, he I think we need to do this. If I'm being frank, I think it's extremely disrespectful that we don't have Tua around this range.
That's fine.
Fair.
That's fine. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I also think we're being kind of disrespectful to Jared Goff here.
No, not yet.
I think he's right behind. I think he's right behind Derek Carr.
I've seen lists with him in top 10, and I was like,
no, he's not.
Honestly, I don't mind it.
I think
he's right. I think he's right behind Derek Carr. To be honest with you.
Yeah, like I think he's right here too.
Actually, based on how this year went, I'm kind of low-key, think how this year went. Jared Goff played amazing those last.
That's a fact. I'm fine with that.
And then Deshaun and Russell. Which way are we going with that?
We're also forgetting about Matt. I think we're also forgetting about Matt Stafford, but I might just be overreacting.
Well, he was not good.
He was not good this year, right? Like.
He was also
I wanted to make sure I threw the name out so we just weren't forgetting about it.
No, I saw it and I was just like, he just wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I mean Deshaun's fine.
I think
DJ above Deshaun is fine.
Yeah, and then I think after Deshaun, you got to go.
Can we
Russ?
Mac?
Yeah.
Can we put Brock Purdy at 20? Can we put
I think
there?
I think Russ has to go there. I think Russ has to go there just because he had the.
We have to
hurting
respect
after it.
Russ. I know he had a bad season, but he's had a good season.
He also had a good end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I need Big Cock Brock to go somewhere in this range.
I think 21 is perfect for him because I think he just how he is now and playing in the playoffs, we can put him ahead of people like Mac Jones, Zach, like all these other guys. I think it's fine to put Brock there for now.
You still have to respect hitting back to won a Super Bowl.
I mean, if we're really being honest, the rest of these guys here are borderline backups to starters, like depending on which team they go to or end up on, other than like still there. So I'm fine with.
Kenny Pickett played really well at the end of the year. I would be comfortable putting him at 24.
Taylor Heineke almost made the playoffs. I think we have to respect. Actually,
Yeah,
with the Carson Wentz
well, so did Kenny Pickett though. He almost made the playoffs. They went 7-2 down the stretch.
Yeah, that's true. Well, both these guys are in the same situation. They both came back when their QBs that started the season were awful. So,
I think Pickett would have to be above Taylor Heineke, in my opinion.
He played really good at the end of the
Taylor
season.
Heineke played so good at the end of the
Listen,
year.
I'm fine with that. I think they're kind of interchangeable at this point in their careers.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with that. Looking at his stats, that's fine. He played
Why
less
is
games.
Zach Wilson automatically last?
Because he was quite literally the worst quarterback in the league this year. Davis Mills can go 31. I'm fine with that. I like Davis Mills, but he played like shit this year.
I don't
Except
know.
that last game.
I don't know, dude. This guy got
that fucking guy.
That's why I was gonna say Matt Ryan be last, not Zach Wilson.
No, Zach Wilson was worse. Zach Wilson was worse.
I don't know about that.
Zach Wilson's team was a playoff team if they don't start him at all.
He almost got beat out in all of his stats by Mike White, who played 4 games. So yes,
Zach Wilson. Literally, minus Zach Wilson, the Jets could have played games without a quarterback and would have been better.
Yeah, Zach Wilson was 5-4, and he had 16. Mike White.
You could have put Nick back there under center, and the Jets would have had a better record.
Hey, I sling the ball though. You guys.
I know you got a cannon, big dog. I get it.
That's true. I sling that shit 50 plus.
Mike White wasn't amazing. But he was
the only reason that Mike White isn't on this list is because Zach Wilson started more games. Like, honestly, yeah, do 33, put Zach Wilson down there, and put Mike White ahead of him. That's exactly what I want to see.
Okay, anyway, so that's good. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to do this. So how did I fuck that up that bad?
I don't think that was your fault, to be honest. I think that was just the way that worked. Like the way it came out. That was weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
There you go.
Okay. So that is our QB ranking. Honestly, I think it came out pretty good. Yep. I think we forgot about Tua in this range because honestly, if he doesn't get 6 concussions,
he's probably in the 8 to 9 range.
Yeah, he's probably somewhere right there. But this isn't a bad QB ranking list. That's our last piece today. Any thoughts? Anyone have anything specific to talk about this?
I think we're good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna say I thought you guys were gonna try and sneak Daniel Jones lower. I actually like where he ended up.
No, you got Adam earlier.
No,
he got to the playoffs. You got to give him the credit for that.
We are trying to be objective here, Kyle.
Yes,
believe it or not.
I honestly think the only non-objective thing we may have done was put Mac at 22.
No, that's correct.
Technically, he played better than Matt Stafford this year.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And I'm also going to give Mac Jones extra credit for playing very well down the stretch with an offensive coordinator who coaches defense.
Wait,
that's fair.
There was no offensive coordinator, but now there is. Bill O'Brien, baby. Okay.
Let's go, baby.
Anyways, it was a great episode. We went for a while here. Any other topics before we head off?
I'm good, boys.
Australian Open will, I think, be finished by the time our next episode is up. So we think we'll have winners for the Australian Open.
Nice. Is that really good American woman still in? Is she still killing it?
No. Who are you even talking about?
I don't remember her name, but she's absolutely gross. Hold on.
Coco Gauff. She is not in it anymore.
No, Australian Open. Well, now I need to look this up. But while I do this, I do hope that all of you guys have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. Enjoy this week of the NFL playoffs. Do make sure to go follow us on socials. We're at 41 subscribers. Our goal by the end of the year is to get to 100. I think that's a pretty good goal by the end of this year.
Hell yeah.
Let's
So
go.
please make sure to subscribe. Definitely go check us out on Twitter. We're doing crazy stuff.